Today I'm making Jedi General Anakin Skywalker's costume from Star Wars The Clone Wars. So I'm really happy how this costume turned out, but anyway, let's get right into how I made the chest plate. So this just looks like a bunch of foam pieces, but this is all the pieces you need to make Anakin's chest piece. So we have all the pieces here to make it. Now we're just gonna go outside and use some contact cement to glue it all together. So right now I'm using contact cement to attach all the pieces. So what you do, you brush it on where you want them to two pieces to connect. Then you wait about 15 minutes and then you put them together and they will attach on contact, just as the name says, contact cement. And you do want to be wearing a mask during this because this stuff is nasty, and also want to wear some gloves as well. You definitely don't want this getting on your skin. So here I'm starting to attach all the pieces, and then after I attach some of them, I put a little bit more contact cement on to attach the rest of the thing. So I put it in 4 separate parts, the 2 shoulders and the front and back, and then I attached everything together, just adding more contact cement, letting it dry, then coming back and sticking them all together. So the chest piece is all glued together. There's just this one area that's not glued, and the reason is I'm gonna add magnets to keep it closed, just so I can get in and out a lot easier. So let's go. So here I'm using a hole punch to go half of the way through the foam, then I'm ripping it out, adding a magnet in, and I'm doing this on both sides just so they have a magnetic enclosure. Then I add a piece of tape on top so the magnets won't come out. I also put a little bit of hot glue to keep the magnets firmly in place. These are the only 2 pieces you will need to make Anakin's left gauntlet, so we're going to go outside and use some more contact cement to glue it together. So right here, I'm just using some more contact cement on the gauntlet piece, and then just attaching the 2 pieces together and making it one good solid piece. So now I'm going to start on Anakin's belt, and we're going to start with the pouches. So this is the first pouch, and these are the 2 pieces you need. So let's go and make a pouch. So this pouch was super easy to make. I started out by scoring all the lines in the actual pouch. Then I took my heat gun, opened up the lines. Then I started to fold everything in on itself to give it the actual pouch shape. So here, you see, I'm actually gluing that top piece on, and that's going to act as another little detail piece. But then I'm going to start folding all the pieces in towards each other and just gluing everything closed. One of Anakin's pouches done, so now it's time to work on the other one. So these are the main pieces I will be using, so let's go and make the pouch. So I actually forgot to add this pouch on the final costume, but I'll just show you how I made it. So I take all these pieces, I stack them up, and then I add the top pieces on, which are just some 2mm foam, and then I add a brim around it just to give it a good, well-rounded look. And then after that, I add the side pieces, and that's it. So we have Anakin's 2 pouches done. Now it's time to actually work on the belt. So here we have a lot of the pieces, including the buckle, the inner belt, and the main belt. This is a big piece of 6mm foam, but let's just start and glue everything together. So I start by adding the clasp to the buckle, then I start to add the other thinner belts, and I loop them through the actual buckle. Then I'm going to glue them on to the main belt. So right now I'm adding texture to the belt. So what I'm doing is taking the heat gun, heating it up, and taking a piece of tin foil, pushing it down to give it a nice texture. And this is done for all the leather pieces except the belt buckle. Okay, so for the last piece of Anakin, we have to do the boots. So this is what one complete looks like. So now let's break it apart. We have the main piece, and then we have 3 little bands. We just have to go add detail to the main boot, and then glue these on. So let's go. So for the boots, I start by scoring all the lines into the boot. Then I heat it up with a heat gun, put the tinfoil on and give it a nice texture. Then I glue on the 3 little straps that finish the boot. So all the armor and all the foam pieces start off by getting one thick layer of Plasti Dip. So I do this for the shoulders, the gauntlet, the shoulders, and the belt. Then it's time to paint the armor. So all the armor gets gray. And I forgot to tell you how I made the shoulders. It's easy, it's just one big piece. Then I continue to paint the rest of it. So the belt's gonna be hand painted, but these 3 pieces, which are the boot covers and the gauntlet, get painted with a gloss black spray paint. So right now we have the one shoulder pad that's going to need the Jedi logo, and I just have some red paint, and I have a little bit of painter's tape on, so we're just gonna go and paint it up. So first I paint an outline with a toothpick, then I go in with a bigger brush just to fill it in, do 2 coats, and then I peel off the tape, and now it's time to add Velcro, and then it's time to weather. So now that the painting's done, this is what it looked like, and I think it looks really good, but now it's time to weather, and then this is what one weathered shoulder pad looks like. So I start with some silver paint, as you'll see in 1 minute, and I just start adding scuff marks all over to make it look like the paint has been chipping away. Then I take some black, blotch it on a few different areas, then I take a paper towel and wipe most of it away, and this is used on all of the other armor, including the chest piece and the other shoulder. So right now I have to attach the armor to the clothes, so for that I'm just have 4 pieces of Velcro, 2 are going to go on the shoulder, and then 2 on the front and back. So right now I'm going to focus on all the brown leather. So there's going to be a bunch of layers with the leather. So what we're going to start off with is 1 good coat of brown. So I have the base coat of brown on. Now I'm just going to add different layers of paint to make it look more and more like leather. So the first part to make it look like leather is I mix up a lighter brown and I just add it to all the edges just to give it highlights, and then I dry brush it on the rest of it. And I am really happy how it's turning out this far, but trust me, it only gets better from here. So then after this, I mix a little black paint with some water to make a black wash, and then I take this and I wipe it all over, and then I dry most of it off. Then here I am painting the belt buckle silver. So the tunic is made out of 4 parts, the 2 arms and the front and back. So here I'm sewing the front and the back together, and then right after I do that, I add the seam on the bottom just to give it a clean look. Then after that, I close the other side and the shoulders, and that gives the base tunic. Then all we have to do is add the sleeve. For the sleeve, I start by adding a hem at the bottom, then I close it up the side, and then I sew it on to the main piece of the tunic so far, and then that's it. So the outer tunic is done in a blue, and all it is just 2 simple pieces. I start by adding a hem at the front, and then this just gives it the nice clean look. I hem the bottom, sew the 2 pieces along the back seam, close the shoulders together, and then that is it for the outer tunic. Okay, so I might have forgot to film the pants and the cape, but they're not the right color anyway, so I have to redo them. So I'll just post a video later on when it gets closer to Comic-Con, when I get the right material. So anyways, that's the costume. Here's the reveal. Okay guys, thank you for watching to the end of how I made my Clone Wars Anakin costume. So I'm really happy with how this came out. Gotta post some pictures later on when I go to Comic-Con. Like I said, have to redo the pants and the cape, but that's no worries. But subscribe if you don't want to miss my next costume, which is Anakin later in life. So I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.